This was probably in 20. Actually, I think it was in 2021, somewhere in there. We were at I think it was an IEDA event or something, and you were there. And I think that's when I first met you. But I asked you, do you have a business card? And you go, no, I don't have a business card. It's 2021. and you sent me that Bling app to where it's like your digital business card. And I still have it today.
Oh, look at that. It worked.
Yeah, that's an impression.
Yeah, I have to admit now, like after some AED Condex events, like having a booth there, you end up having to get real business cards. People just, they're still very traditional.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. I'm glad you remember that. And IED is such a whirlwind, like, not to mention that most of it's spent at a bar. So
right.
Traditional.
Yeah. I'm glad. I knew there was someone. I just couldn't, from the list of names, figure out who was who, to be honest.
Yeah.
So we're still waiting for a couple more here. Oh, Nate's here.
Yeah, sorry, had to join mobile. My computer just decided to go on the fritz right before the start of this meeting. So
it's convenient. I called in some reinforcements. I didn't want to be outnumbered. So
there we are.
There we are.
No longer alone. All good.
Jordan may not be joining because I think IT leadership is on an offsite meeting.
He did put a question mark on it. Okay, well, if we want to get started then, we want to do some intros. Can introduce some people on my side if you'd like.
Sure.
Yeah. So that's Kramer. I started this thing 7 years ago. And what you'll see today and what we're going to be talking about started about 5 years ago with a bunch of IEDA dealers. The rest of our team here, I've got Nick, who's our VP of Technology, Ronald, who's sort of our board advisor and has spent 40 years. Is it 40 years now, Ronald, in the ERP space?
I'm not that old.
When I met him, he already worked for BAN, which would eventually be the back end of like e-emphasis and systems like that. And then Gaurav is our India team lead, and Ankit's our quality assurance manager. So they put work into all of this every day, and really we're just trying to be involved and learn what people are looking for. So. Nate, are you taking the lead?
Craig Kleindl, Director of Evaluation. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm Ty Hanna, Vice President of Equipment.
I'm Tara Winterquist, Director of Sales Process.
and Nate Brown, IT Business Partner for the equipment side.
Well, thanks for asking for this. In the demo request, it was focused largely on inspections and on sales evaluation with a mention of rental, if I remember correctly. So we can show you a little bit. I don't know if you want to start with some questions around your sales process and maybe try and introduce what you're looking for, and then I can give you some tours and some things to look at to support that.
Sure, I can. I mean, what we're looking for is a mobile app for our not only our salespeople to complete trade evaluations, but also tools to assist in like our. We have a very large rental fleet, so we've got service inspectors who are constantly inspecting our own rental fleet, and then we've got in and out traffic process where outbound, inbound inspections for machines that go out to rental customers, kind of the basic inspection. We've got, very detailed inspections when it comes to the service ones. The traffic ones are a little bit more generic, but then, harnessing what tools, some of the new technology and videos and AI pictures, stuff like that, to help assist in the inspection process as well. But
Okay. And when you talk about having inspections, are you talking paper or are you already using something?
we got a lot of our team members. Yeah, they'll go out their phone, take pictures, jot down some notes, go back to the computer, enter it. Some of them have it in, have their laptop with them as they're doing it. But yeah, most of it's being done on a computer today. So.
Okay. And is there a component here of price evaluation? Is that part of the process flow?
That's the big thing right now is all of our trade evaluations. So going in, inspecting the unit, sending it into our central team to review that unit, put values on it, and then send it back so they can process their sales deal, or work their sales deal with their customers. So.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
Top of my head, and I guess not. No. Nate, I don't know if you. Sorry if I missed anything.
That's
that's
big
really
pieces.
the 5,000-foot view of it. We are way behind the times when it comes to how we're evaluating equipment, and we need to get more in real time. That's the goal. So.
Yeah. Real time, and I lost my train of thought there. Sorry, but
accuracy, consistency, speed, once we get the eval, we do a pretty good job about, given the valuation of whatever it is. We really don't know what the number is from time to customer, directs an account manager or, directs somebody to evaluate a piece of equipment till Craig's team gets it, and I know there's a big gap there because of the old fashioned way we're doing it, because salesmen prioritize certain ways. But if we could get it as soon as they were there doing it, I know we would close that gap way shorter, right?
Yeah.
And I think some things we need to do is help simplify, when it comes to the inspection that they're doing today is very detailed. It's overkill for what we need, really. Tying into some of the, data lakes, things like that, to, scan a serial number, and then it basically pulls up, here's how that machine was originally spec'd and built. Has anything changed? I think there's some things we really need to do to help speed up, simplify the entire process too, where, an account manager sits down, does the evaluation today. One, it's manual on paper and stuff, but you have to click about 500 buttons just to get through one eval, where, some of our salespeople are trading in 80 tractors at a time. Well, we just gotta figure out ways to really simplify this as well. So
yeah, simple is good. I'll layer in defending against pencil whipping as well.
Very good, very detailed, but simple, and prevent the guys from doing very good top to bottom on the condition ratings.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll start. I know the use case, right? So for people who don't know me, my background, I started with Tormont Cat, a big cat dealer, probably close to size of RDO. We had an in-house software team the CIO over there sort of had this mindset, like if Cat didn't give it to us, then we'll build it until they do, and then replace it if they actually come through on it. And so I got caught up in that, even though I worked on the service side. I learned, how all this data integration stuff works and how it applies to the business. And through my career, I've always been on an operational side. And in my last role as head of parts and service for Liebherr across Canada, but always looking at like this exact thing that you're looking at, process flow. Where is the information? How can we move it to the right place at the right time? And in many of those cases, building software. So the reason this platform exists is because Donnie and James over at Performance and a couple of other IDA dealers were tired of what they had and hodgepodging it all together, and asked us if we could build something. So we have one of the things that we bring, especially on the equipment side, is this history of knowing that construction equipment is very different across the board structurally, right? A car is a car, pretty close, and every car sort of fits into a checklist for a car. But construction equipment is very different, and there's lots of different things to evaluate, especially in a trade evaluation. And so we built it up from that, making it configurable for whatever the application, whether it's a sales trade-in or a rental return, or even like we've done undercarriage inspections for some people. Technically, I'll just take a second to make the IT people happy. We are an Azure-based web application. We run not as a multi-tenant system, so we can deploy this either in our cloud or in a custom cloud. It can be completely segregated from other people's data and deal with it. We have integrations with all of the major single sign-on platforms like Microsoft, and have a modern identity manager around that with passkeys and stuff like that that make people's lives easier. I'm going to be touring you through a recent copy over of Performance's data to give it some relevant data. So here's our basic web application. It's a modern React web app with full APIs for everything that we do. So integrating other data is pretty straightforward. It can also be pulled into other custom apps once you have authentication and want to pull data into something else. So integrating the data that's coming in from inspections into something else is also straightforward. We do have some experience with with CDK, and if I'm correct, you guys are on CDK, right? Although I understand it's a fairly customized version of it.
Yeah.
But we have other dealers where they run our CRM, and we bring in their customers and all of their inventory and all of their customer inventory from the CDK connection. And then we allow them to, with some admin tools, customize that, map different things like map statuses and accounts and from the CDK data into how they want to represent that. So we've experienced pulling that data over and then building on top of that and merging it in. So things like rental data, we can pull rental records and tell you which machine is on what rental contract right away for feedback on the inspection. Like I said, our inspections start with being configurable. We have multiple input types that can be configured, from drop downs to switches and text boxes, including calculated fields. So like if you're going to measure rollers or something and you want to compare them to what they should be, it'll tell you if they're 50% or 40% or whatever they are. And then we build our inspection templates using different types of templates. So if I look at this one, this is a rental in-out, which is sort of a system reserved, and drives users to enter both like contract information if they need to, as well as the direction of the inspection. So it is customized for that, like signature capture, and we can categorize any inspection template to match certain makes and models. So once those makes and models are set up, then we can create different sections in it and then add different tasks into each section. And again, customize them for that category of equipment. No point in looking for a ripper on a wheel loader or having that in the inspection. All the required switches, like this is a required field, a must pass field. I want a camera icon to show up. I want notes icons to show up. And also conditional based, if say someone enters a value of, and you'll see this later, someone enters something that's considered a fail, it'll force them to capture a picture or add a note or stuff like that. So all that basic process flow there. Here's some examples of equipment evaluation templates. We have these for all of the IEDA members because the IEDA did a bunch of work and published them all, and we digitized them. So now we're looking at like a lot of different things. Just like you said, you have very detailed inspection templates already and all the different tasks of what people have to do. One thing we can also do is, training is a big thing, or knowing what to do. So here in the description or instructions, we can actually do like an HTML formatted set of instructions with images if you want to teach a person how to measure a roller, if they're supposed to do that and they've never done it. It's in the app then. Any questions about all that setup and administration? Yeah, it lets you basically customize the number of templates that you need. And when someone starts to do an inspection, it'll bring up the best match based on the category of equipment for that piece of equipment, so that they're not picking the wrong stuff or going through long lists. So here we have, all of the equipment in the system or the inventory. If it's yours from a rental perspective. Again, this, for some dealers, this is merged from outside systems, but here we capture the basic equipment information, pictures. Here you can see all of the past inspections done on this machine. So if I want to see pictures for that rental return, I can find those as well. We then, well, maybe we should switch over to the mobile app side. I'm going to show you a couple of things here off my phone.
So everything that you just showed us was more, all the things we need in the background, right? Like all, the setup, the structure of the evals, what we want, what we want. I mean, how much of that does like the actual evaluator, have to deal with, or is it that's when we, before we launch, we have to go through all this, setup. We collect all this data. It's built in. You were giving us a snapshot of what all that was. But now you're about to show us really what an account manager or an inspector has to, what they're going to be tasked with, correct? Yeah,
exactly. I like to give you a little bit of background because I think, one of the things you run into is a lot of, nice screenshots, but is the application fundamentally built for like what you want to do with it, your kind of equipment, your organizational structure? I just wanted to give you that background.
Fair.
Just to start off with. Maybe it's just how I I did a demo from a guy today, and he had some really lovely screenshots, and they were clearly just like interactive HTML files, and it wasn't a real application, So I like to kind of try to show you the backside.
Yeah.
Okay, so
a question with the customization pieces that you've shown. Is that something that your team sets up and we have to go through your team to do any adjustments or edits to that? Or is that something we can control completely in-house and continue to make those adjustments and modifications to have it set up how we want?
completely in-house. We want to empower you guys to be able to like fine tune the inspections. If you have an inspection that comes back and you're like, they keep missing this. They're not measuring or counting the cleaner bars. It's missing off the inspection. You can go in, put cleaner bars in and make sure they get a picture of that, right? And the next person who does that inspection will make sure they have those changes. So.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. Okay, so we have two apps. Functions could be merged and moved into the app. Currently, we set it up so that we have our inspection and service app. So here are the inspections. We here get the fleet information. So we can look up a unit or a serial number. Any user gets the list of their inspections. Everyone gets a default branch and where they are, so it filters down. And so if I pick here this is one of the sales inspections from IDA. I get the basic equipment. So if I can add my comments here, just general comments. I can add videos and I can add pictures, obviously. The one thing we wanted to focus on was that there are attachments to it. So here I can capture attachments, multiple attachments. I can either search them from the inventory that exists, or a lot of attachments don't exist in the data sets. So I can just capture make, model, serial number, and then pictures of the attachment. So if something comes in with 3 or 4 buckets, then you can capture them all specifically under attachments and not as tasks under the inspection. We do have also, I just put this in for you guys as an example. We have what we call extra data JSON. It is a way to add an additional page, but also additional fields to an inspection that are specific either for that inspection type or for the way you want to run it. So here I just for fun added some of these trade value fields that maybe later on as the inspection moves on get filled out by the next person in the process, but it's captured inside the inspection. Now we switch to the very long multiple page entries that we can see. We have numeric, we have drop down values. So in this section, I don't know if you remember the IDA inspections, there's a lot of checkboxes at the beginning. Anywhere here, I can add a comment. Or I can add another picture. And so these pictures are then tied specifically to that task and not like the general at the beginning of the inspection pictures. And we work our way through. In this case, these are all set up as drop downs to the end of the inspection. I won't do the whole thing. We get to the end. Near the end, we have this additional items function. So if something wasn't on the inspection, and that's often damages, we can go like this and just say, found a leak at the tilt cylinder. Like that. We can add a picture of that if we want. And then we add that as an additional item. So not everything has to be on the task list. And often for rental in-out inspections, a lot of the damage is captured as additional items. And then we can capture signatures, obviously, at the end of it, both customer, inspector, and we actually have customizable third sign-off if you're doing like the driver. The driver drops it off and finishes it up. And then we finish it. So that is the sales kind of inspection. If we look at, or a rental inspection. They tend to be shorter. In this case, they have to capture some Colorado specific SMM tag data and last service dates. And then we just go into a simplified inspection with other inputs, types and stuff. Okay. So that's the inspection function. I'll just show you the other side of it, which is more like the salesman side. We can integrate that inspection function in here as well. So we have a full CRM app that has all the customer information, the customer fleet data. So we can pull up companies and assets and inventory. We can see who's nearby, etc. We do have a little function here that we've been working on, which is sort of like your serial number scan. I can add a QR code on the machine as a sticker, and then it'll bring up that machine directly. And then from here, I can find, more equipment information, specifications, how it's structured. I can also go in and look at all the pictures that I have, including if I want to say, okay, I need the pictures specifically from this inspection. And now I have those specific pictures. And these we can also share. So if I want to share pictures, I can say, oh, I got to send these pictures to the customer, and I can text them out. So even right after an inspection is completed and you're, discussing the trade, you can quickly send just the pictures related to an issue to your customer for discussion, even though they're captured inside the inspection as well. Any questions on that?
I don't think so. Is there any, voice command capabilities?
Ask Nick. We have been working on that. And there's something called MCP, which is a Anthropic server API or AI integration that we have been deploying. So that will support like, hey, can you find me or create an activity for so-and-so in the future. So yeah.
Not just that, just add to it, like we are working on lots of AI integration. We do have some already baked into our application, but we are working on fully like remote control, as you mentioned about the voice control, and even outside of our application, like all the AI tool, which is like Anthropic AI application itself, or even the OpenAI, you can just interact with our application through that. Your application installed in your mobile app or in your computer. But again, like we are still in the early beta stage. So we are selectively rolling out those features to the dealer who wanted to try it out, because someone might not appreciate do the beta testing on the production environment. So we are very selectively rolling out. And things are changing in the AI world very fast. So we are being very careful how we do it and what we do, because the customer's data is very important. So we don't want to leak anything in that regards as well. So we are working at it, and we are doing lots of testing around that as well. So as you mentioned, the voice command, it's already in our dev instance, where you can, through the voice command, you can do a lots of stuff. You can find a machine, you can add an activity, you can even pull an inspection. Or if you want to get a status of an inspection, you can do that as well. This is just like a basic interface as Matt's showing here. And it's not like you can access through this mobile app, and it can work in any language. Like it doesn't have to be English, like Spanish or any other language. It will figure it out, everything. But again, since this is not the production ready feature yet, so we haven't rolled it out to all our dealers.
Yeah. So we've introduced it to various customers, like Nick says, in different areas. We do have like a technical database function here that it can read and go through like documentation that's been saved. We have one VP over at one of the CRM dealers that he's been shown how to use just Claude Desktop to ask questions about how many opportunities were open and closed, and generated a PowerPoint presentation on our 30-minute call on all the activities in the CRM all live. So because we have that full API for all of our functions, anything that you see in the interface, any other tool can interact with if it has authentication.
The easier way
So-
to explain this is like Gemini and all those apps where it says that, okay, connect your calendar, and then you ask any question and it can read you through your calendar, or Gmails or stuff like that. So similar way, because this been built on the modern technology stacks and the Azure and all those, like the modern technology has been built on. So it can, and Gemini can connect with your Outlook. It can easily connect with this instance. And then the way you ask the question to a chatbot, it can understand about your data, about your application, and can reply you that only. And it's not over the internet. It's not open to the public. You do have to go to the Gemini or ChatGPT or Claude and have to connect your application to it, and then it will able to recognize only your application, not others' application. So it's pretty secure, pretty safe. So yeah, I would say we are working through it, but it's gonna be a few more months before you see it in our production environment.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe I missed it, but when you were going through the like the account manager inspection, was there a spot where it brought it where you went in and selected how the machine was spec'd? Hey, this is an S780 combine. It's got premium cab, premium suspension, fine cut chopper. How the machine, all the features of the machine.
You did miss it. It depends a little bit on the source data and how we represent that. So we can either represent it. Do you remember? I can put it back on, but
No, I mean, I saw the
Yeah.
inspection where you're going through like all the, the inspection of the different functions, but I didn't see where it had like option codes and stuff, but maybe.
So that is like how your data is structured. And
Sure.
so like that can either be pulled and structured into general text, or it can be structured into one of those little tabs that you saw come up, like asset info, asset details. We would just structure that data and show it that way. It's just a tab.
Gotcha. Yeah. And then, so let's say, let's say we had all that information. Now, is it customizable where, you'd showed the picture where you can scan the QR code and it'll grab the machine. Now, can we scan the serial number and then go find that serial number in our?
Yes. Because your machine's serial number plates have barcodes on them, right?
Yep.
It ships them with barcodes. So we can read the barcode rather than read a QR code and use whatever's embedded in the barcode to do the search. It's really all it's doing. Like the QR code looks really fancy, and it has a bit of a dual use. Like the QR code really just has like a unique ID in it that got linked to that machine. And so it's searching by that field. If you want to search by serial number, you're reading the barcode and searching by serial number. The other thing we've built into the QR system is that if someone's walking through your yard and scans it, there's a public version of that information that they can pull, that you can publish. And so if they're walking through the yard, they scan it. They don't need to have the app. They'll get a public page that says, this is this machine and this is what you're advertising. Basically an advertising web page. So yeah, and it works in the inspections for rentals coming in and out too.
Sure. And then you have anybody, or is there, so let's say you're going through that inspection piece, right? You're, okay, we need to rebuild the undercarriage. Can you access, okay, part of the valuation process figured, okay, well, it's going to cost X amount of dollars. Here's the work that needs to be done, or how much it's going to cost to rebuild those components. Is there a way to tie in and say, okay, well, I need to replace the chopper blades, and then it'll go out and find our work order, our estimate, pre-build estimates to say, okay, well, this is a $7,500 job or whatever it is.
Yeah. if that data exists like I said, in your pre-built work orders, and we already know how to pull all the work order data, so we can do a search for that and return the information. So it would be, so the likely place where you would see it is say, so look, let's say we're looking at this inspection here.
And I'm just thinking, as you go down through the inspection process, you know, hey, this is broke, this is leaking, you know, whatever, you know, the front window's broke, you know, what's it going to cost to, you know, it's a $1,500 fix to put a skid steer window in, or whatever it is, right? So
Yeah, no, I totally understand. So it's really the process flow. So
yeah.
Here's the basic overview of the inspection, with all of the pictures that we took for each task item, the evaluation. What you're really looking to do is, like, we have like the comments here, right? That came in from the inspection, and you would want an additional field here, which is like repair cost, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I essentially would like a way, yeah, for the salesperson or the inspector to go out and search for, you know, if we've got inspectors, they're already doing, they're working in two systems, right? They're working in the quotes, their work order quoting system, and then they're working in the inspection itself, trying to do both at the same time. But let's say we got a salesperson out there, they can just go search and say, okay, you know, I want to try and, you know, figure out how much it's going to cost to repair this. And then those just all add up for my team, you know, to say, okay, well, you figured out you need 25 grand in repairs, trade values 200 grand, so we're going to deduct that off of what the trade price is, right? So
yeah, I see where you're going with it. So there are already items in place, like notes and fields that we could look up, an approval process. We do have, and it doesn't really apply, but it's sort of a similar kind of idea, an ability to like mass approve or even create work orders. For your user flow, we might be able to do, or you have a tool like this, which is to say, you can mention people. Right, and so if I do that, then when Gaurav logs in here and his little notifications, he gets a notification that someone mentioned him on this inspection. And if he clicks on that, it'll take him right to the inspection, the comments, and then he can work on it. So there is sort of an internal communication process that people are familiar with nowadays. Everyone does mentions now, right?
Yeah.
So, and that is across the system, that comments function. So that's available. I like how you're thinking ahead already.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can email them, obviously.
Yeah, so that was another question, you know, I mean, we've got salespeople who, you know, maybe have planned inspections they're going to do, or maybe they're just impromptu. They show up and customers like, hey, do an inspection on those 3 pieces of equipment. I'm going to figure out, I'm going to trade one of them. I don't know which one, but then we've got inspectors where somebody is assigning that, you know, go look at this machine. It looks like you've got that built in there where it actually got some maps on where it's located and everything, but.
Yeah, we have full telematics integration as well.
Okay.
So like these guys have both Deere and their in-house and some CAD and stuff. And so we pull all the telematics data so we know where the machines are. On top of that, the inspection captures where it was done. So we can compare those as well. And that same information is available in the mobile app for directions, right? So if you like pull up an inspection and I have to inspect this machine, the first question is, where is this machine? We've seen it used at like yard level detail, that you just zoom in on the yard and you can tell where it's parked in the yard to find it. But also, like if I'm going on the road, I can get directions and see that was the location this morning, so that it's going to be there. So that's all integrated in the mobile app as well. And so basically, you know, even if the equipment isn't in the system, and you've got a guy going out to a customer with 3 machines, they can enter that equipment in the system and then run inspections on them. And then those machines are in the system already. So that data is then linked to that customer, that sales rep, and then can be moved where it needs to go. So we kind of keep all of that global data structured and not siloed inside a module. I'm using real machines in the system when I do an inspection.
So you just mentioned telematics data. So you have access, or it's possible to get access to Deere's telematics for the equipment?
Yep. Yeah, we have several dealers on Deere. Deere's got a unique in their JD Link system, kind of a unique way to do it. All the dealer needs to do is go in and add our app, our Vizybility app, to their from the marketplace, and then we start getting data flowing. So then if we have your equipment list, then it'll auto match up and you'll start seeing it.
Now, you had mentioned earlier on in the call about working with dealers on CDK, which, at this point that's IntelliDealer. So you have integrations that are set up currently that work with IntelliDealer for your application?
Yeah, they're not very sophisticated, but we're able to basically implant something inside your network and then pull all those data files either on a nightly or an hourly job, and then we merge that data into our data set. So we have live data on a nightly basis coming over all your customer accounts and stuff. This example that I showed you here, this is a dealer that runs the CRM with 8 locations, 40 sales reps, and all of their data is coming from CDK, unless they start adding their own stuff in, like sales reps putting in their prospect customers and stuff. We have another dealer that does all of their parts ordering for technicians through our parts requisition system. So we merge all the parts data, parts pricing, parts availability, as well as all of the work orders on a 5-minute basis, so that if someone says, I need parts for this work order that was just open, they have all that data available, equipment data, location of that machine, and then they can look up parts and order those parts. And CDK does have some APIs coming for IntelliDealer. So I was in a meeting with them last week, 2 weeks ago, with one of the other dealers on that. So yeah, you can work on a unified data set. It was one of the things I learned really early on from Tormont, is that all the tools we built, the backbone of it was data that was being pulled out of the DBS system, the main dealer software from CAT. So, and then you build everything on top. We also have the ability to create different templates, just so that your sales inspection templates and your rental inspection templates contain a different look and feel and different information. Obviously, in rental, we want to know what came in and what went out, what direction was it going, when did it last come out. And then these PDFs are all obviously clickable, so that I can look at videos and stuff. And if I send this PDF to someone, all that picture, data, video, all available. So as you share that PDF around, media that's available is passed along with it.
And on the mobile piece, I take it the functionality, you have the same functionality for Android and iPhone, or is this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, that's pretty straightforward. We build our mobile apps in React Native, so it's sort of platform independent. So it's the same app in both. Any other questions?
I don't have any.
No.
Noticed you had a integration with Pedigree API. Is that I mean, we do use Pedigree as well. So
Oh, cool.
You're able to do other APIs outside of IntelliDealer, I'm assuming then.
Yeah. Yeah, we have dozens of API integrations. Early on, we even had like when Equipment Watch was still doing it, we had an Equipment Watch integration. So as I pull up a machine, I can pull Equipment Watch data and market pricing. We are working on a Rouse integration. Since we feed Rouse data, we also have their APIs to be able to pull up a machine and whatever the rental rates are that are being published through Rouse, rather than going on to their website, we can show that in here. So yeah, either we do a direct or we do through our inside our API, we have that built out into the other systems. So like we do all our finance integrations, our payment integrations are all through the API. And then for some other things like the telematics data, we just have a little cloud of function apps that harvest the data from all the different sources and then update the right databases and right equipment and stuff like that. So yeah.
Okay.
It was one of the things that I got saddled with when I was at Tormont was the technology group and all of the product link and the early generations of telematics on equipment. It was one of my things. So I've been involved in that business my entire career. So.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. We have a couple of dealers. That's all we do for them. Like integrate all their GPS and feed it back into Vital Edge. So. Would you like to go back to the mobile app for a second? Because there seem to be more questions around that than, say, the web application, which.
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing is the majority of our users are out in the field, right? So they, it needs to be built around them, and how we manage it in the background is important as well, but.
Yeah, two aspects, right? Collecting data and then the process flow after the fact. So
with the mobile app, is there any offline capabilities? So if they're in an area and they're doing an inspection, they do not have connection, but they still complete the inspection and then it'll send the data over once they're connected again, or how does that work?
In all honesty, we had built that in at the very beginning. But have not run into any issues with anyone actually using it. The place where you may see it most is actually on image management, where we do put them into an upload manager and then manage their upload and confirm them all, because that's the largest data set. If you're going to run into like forestry or mines, and I know you guys probably do a bunch of forestry, then we can review that ability to put an inspection live onto the app and have it sit in our upload manager until it's done. I just put my phone back on here. Okay. All right.
I know that Craig, you had previously asked some questions about cloning evaluations for like large sets of machines.
Yeah. I mean, so one of the, I kind of hit on it a little bit there, but let's say we've got a sales guy who's trading in 80 tractors, and let's say they're, essentially do two different models. You got an 8R 8R280 and 8R310, being able to essentially clone that inspection, that evaluation, and then assign, here's the serial numbers, here's the hours, and then maybe being able to go in and do a few tweaks here and there if something, if something's damaged or missing or something like that. But yeah, anyway, you have the ability, it kind of goes back to, how would you, or do you have any cases like that, or?
I don't have any cases like that, but like to mass create inspections for multiple machines or copy them over. I mean, those are pretty straightforward functionalities throughout the system. Like we have, create inspections, or if you're in a customer's equipment list, you can just say create inspection kind of thing. Or, those copy functions are very straightforward to implement. Really, it sounds like after the fact, once they're all created, you're going to want to be able to sit at a desk and just update key items on them. And that's one thing we do allow is both to create and edit the inspection on the mobile phone in the field, but also to sit down and then review those inspections and edit anything that needed to be changed. Or like you saw, really start thinking about the next step of the process, which is like these items need to be quoted on this inspection. So this is the CRM app again, which sounds like the kind of thing that most of the salespeople would use to do it. We would just enable the inspection function here as well. We do have a dashboard that can be configured, so we could drive open inspections and push them from the back end. We offer calendar functionalities with Microsoft Outlook integration. And then here is company data. And again, this could be a mixture of CDK or IntelliDealer, customers, prospects, and accounts, and things that the sales rep enters themselves. So if this customer had equipment, we would see the customer's equipment listed there. We've also merged EDA, UCC data for dealers as well to give them information of what's out there. And basic tools on locations, all their addresses, any sales activities, etc., and sales opportunities. And our sales opportunities functionality is also customizable, so we can have different kinds of sales opportunities. So this is often where we see people setting up trades and linking trades to deals. We have a rental reservation function. People can book a rental either by category or for an actual machine. And again, your own inventory here with multiple filters by category of equipment and asset types and statuses to be able to find what's available. So that could include a trade machine. Here we can see the telematics integration that we're getting on that unit and when it was last picked up. As well as how the machine is structured or other details on the piece of equipment. So these tabs are configurable on a unit. And in the system to add other tabs. So what we typically do is we drive out CDK data into other tabs for fields that you're looking for, so that the sales guys have access to that information. We also replicate the sales rep by account structures and support multiple sales reps per account, so that sales guys are seeing their customers and their customers' equipment. Anything else you wanted to see, Craig?
No,
No?
pretty good overview.
Yeah, I have a hard stop coming up here, but before we conclude, I guess thanks for walking us through this. I mean, we're vetting out, options here. So, we could be in touch with some follow-up questions, maybe kind of at the beginning stages of this process for us. So again, good to see you, Mets. Thanks for the demo. And we'll be in touch, I guess.
Okay. I figure that there was some things that'll come up later when you have questions. So if you just want to give me a call, that's fine.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, Mets,
Mhm.
really appreciate it. Definitely, I'll look through some of this and probably have some follow-ups, especially when it comes to the integration pieces, and some security and data data retention questions. So
Yeah.
I'll probably just send an email over and get a follow-up with some of that stuff there. And then kind of one of my closing questions too, if we wanted to get a little hands-on to touch any of this stuff a little bit more with any of the people on this call, or maybe some that aren't, what is sort of your testing options for the solution, be it the mobile or the actual PC web-based application?
If you guys want to do like a demo period, we can create like a demo environment, spin up a copy, and then you would have access to everything. We can pre-populate it with some demo data, or we can grab a subset of yours and load it so it looks real, and you can do whatever you want to do. So
Okay.
That's pretty straightforward.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I'll kind of follow up, ask a round of questions with some of the guys internally, and then follow up with you there. And that might be something we want to look into.
Sure. That'd be great. So
Tara or Craig, did you have any additional questions? Anything else?
I do not.
Good. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
you're very welcome. Good to see you guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
We'll be
everyone.
in touch soon.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.